Talk to us about the effects of higher crude prices, because you make a lot of oil, but you also buy a lot of crude products.
Right, Danny, thank you for having us this morning. Absolutely. Mexico is more a manufacturer exporter than an energy exporter, as you were precisely saying. So we have a relatively balanced effect on our domestic fiscal front. We are exporters of oil, but we also import quite a bit of energy. But in the balance, we have a net, almost neutral effect on our fiscal side. And for us, that is very important because we're always watchful of what investors, markets, and rating agencies have to say. So we are estimating that we are going to be able to more or less offset and to accommodate the impact on our fiscal side and also for the consumer. We have a stimulus package for domestic consumers, so not every increase in energy prices at the international markets would be passed through domestic consumers. So I think the quick answer for you would be that we would have a relatively neutral and balanced effect from our domestic and fiscal
Minister, is there a price or a level or a duration at which oil needs to stay elevated or higher, at which that changes and you need to rethink energy strategies?
Well, it's not only level, but also the duration, Danny, of this impact. We believe that what futures markets are telling us is that this will be relatively short-lived, and it will be temporary, and we should be able to accommodate both the fiscal, the price, and the economic effects. We would be more concerned if this turns out to be more prolonged and the effects on prices would be more long-lasting. But at this current level of oil prices and energy, I think for the moment we would have a close to neutral effect on our fiscal balances and our economy.
I wonder the effect of the drop in the currency. The peso has dropped an extraordinary amount against the dollar. Does that give you a tailwind in terms of economic growth? And I know that you're trying to pass an infrastructure bill right now also to stimulate growth.
Well, the peso has been one of the most one of the gainers in the currency market for the last 12 months. So what we have seen recently under this energy prices situation is a relatively modest pullback from what we've seen over the last 12 months. So we are, content where the peso is trading. It's a free float regime for our currency, which is one of the most liquid in the emerging market concern. So overall, over the last 12 months, the peso has been performing very well. And I think what we are seeing is the currency market accommodating the shocks in the energy and financial markets. Sure, we have seen some volatility on our currency front as of late, but over the last 12 months, the peso has been doing okay, and we believe that this framework, which also is accompanied by relatively stable performance on the interest rate market. Our bond markets have sold a little bit over the last couple of weeks, but it's down markedly from last year. So I think this mix that we are facing, we're facing a relatively stable currency and bond markets compared to other economies,
right.
Fit well for our investment strategy in infrastructure.
Minister, we also have talks for USMCA's preliminary review ongoing in Washington, D.C. this week. Are you confident that it will be extended?
Yes, we are. The teams have begun talks in Washington, D.C., And if you take a look at Mexico's trade balance with the United States over last year, we became the United States' largest trading partner, both on the export front and the import front. Mexico increased its market share in the United States. So despite the headwinds, despite the headlines, Mexico's and the United States economic integration continues to move forward. And I think this testifies to the increased flexibility and prowess of North American manufacturing. We are very optimistic that both countries will end up having a very good trade deal.